Hello, I am Susan. I am a speech therapist by background, a little bit of my background. I'm an area manager for Symbria. I've been helping out the last few months until Alexandra started. She'll be the new therapy manager here. She's an occupational therapist by background, so I'm really excited that she's here. A little bit else about me, I've been doing this well over 20 years. I used to be a rehab director at an acute floor in the hospital, and then I've been doing rehab directing for long-term care and outpatient therapy for another 15 plus years. So I really do love it. It's the population I love. I do children, but I like people my age. I enjoy that a little bit more. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking about posture, balance, and body mechanics. I'm going to first change the screens as we go. The first section is just some statistics about falls. Falls are the leading cause of death over the age of 75 and the number 2 cause of injury related to death. Almost 50% of older persons who experience a fall resulting in serious injury never fully recover. Sometimes there's that one injury that it's hard to get back from. Can everybody hear me okay? Do I need to talk a little louder?
A little louder.
A little louder. Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Is this better?
Yeah.
Almost 50% of older persons who experience a fall resulting in serious injury never fully recover, and many will lose some of their independence. So there's always that one injury that sometimes is harder to come back from. I give an example. My father had Parkinson's, and that's one of those conditions where when you have something happen, it's harder to come back from. It can really impact your mobility and other functions. Common fractures that involve when a fall happens: pelvis, hip, femur, upper arm, hand, forearm, ankle, are all places that are typical places for fracture. Older adults who have fallen previously or who stumble frequently are 2 to 3 times more likely to have a fall within the next year. So when you start seeing if you have a tendency to not bring that foot all the way up or you catch it real easy, that's an indicator that you could be more prone to have a fall. Next screen. 1 in 4 older adults will fall. More than 50% will not tell their doctor or their family. It's a true reality. If we get ourselves back up and we brush ourselves off, we're like, okay, let's move on. Falling once increases the likelihood or the chance to fall again. Kind of like pneumonia, if your doctor's ever said once you get it, sometimes you're more prone to get it again. Falls are also similar to that. 1 in 5 falls cause serious injury, such as a broken bone or a head injury. Many people who fall, even if they're not injured, can be fearful of falling again, but become more cautious. Just like that teenager who has that first accident. You know, paranoia says they always have that first accident, and you hope it's not bad in the car. They kind of learn their lesson. When we have a first fall, we become more fearful. Same as that situation. And it can cause us to kind of cut down our activity or be less likely to do something that maybe we would do before. These are just some definitions. Posture is the position or the alignment of the body parts with respect to each other, kind of how we are all aligned, straight in a row. Stability relates to the maximum distance that someone can lean in any direction before they alter their base of support. Going beyond the stability limit requires adjustment to realign our body mass. So that stability is how far can we go before we become off balance or off center. And then balance is the ability to control your center of gravity or mass with respect to your base of support. So one is how aligned I am, how straight I am. The other is how my stability is, and my balance is me adjusting to get that in place. Why is balance important? It is a skill that requires both mind and body. Like any other skill, it requires practice. We don't just get up and start walking perfectly. Even infants have to figure out their balance when they start walking. Standing is an activity that requires balance the most. A lot of times we don't think that standing is harder, but sometimes when you're doing rehab, you can have a patient that can get up, stand, and walk just fine with a walker, but it's more energy to stand than it is to move. That movement keeps you going, but standing in one place can be a lot harder. Aging often leads people to sitting more than standing, so balance simulation is lost. When we're sitting more than we're standing, we're losing that sense of balance because we're not practicing it, we're not keeping it going. You need good balance for just about everything, including walking, leaning, getting out of a chair, tying our shoes, and the less likely we do that, the more likely we are to have the falls. And we become reactive to what happens instead of proactive before it happens. Components of balance and function. I'm going to switch my pages here real quick. I like to have it in front of me too. Loss of muscle strength are factors that contribute to decline of balance, a decrease in our muscle response time, posture changes, shifting of the center of gravity, cognitive changes for concentration, and gait velocity. Even myself, I was just telling Alexandra I was typing, and I realized I was doing this more and not this as much. And that body change is partly our posture change as we age. We tend to adjust our body, and it kind of throws off our balance a little bit. Key systems that influence balance are visual, your eyes. If you've ever been walking with a therapist and they say, keep your eyes up so you know where you're going instead of down, our vision is kind of what keeps us in line. And when that's off, it can throw our balance off. Vestibular, your ears, an ear infection is easy for getting our balance off. The part of the brain that kind of gathers sensory information is that somatosensory. I probably said it wrong. But it's kind of the part of the brain that's important for gathering all this information together that we're sensing through our body, through our feet, what we're feeling, to help us with our balance. Two of these three systems must be working well to maintain balance. If one of them's off, or two of them are off, it can throw everything off. This is just a breakdown of what I described earlier, but vestibular is the balance of mechanisms that are housed in the inner ear that kind of keep our balance for us. Visual, changes in any peripheral visual system reduces our acuity. For example, being less likely to want to drive at night, or when it's raining, or if our vision's off, it kind of throws everything off for us. And then the sensory, that provides information for our movement, our body related to things around us. That's that part of the brain that kind of pulls all that information together so I kind of know where I am in space and time for my balance. Okay, balance and equilibrium. The physiological body changes impact balance and posture. Research shows changes occur in nerve firing sequences between the spine and the lower body muscles can impact our balance. Exercisers score higher in reaction time and have a lessened degree of sway and improved leg strength for stability. So if you're somebody who does a lot more exercise, these tend to stay more active and more functional. Balance, however, is a complex function of sensory processing and muscular control, which requires a multifaceted approach to show improvement. Right, and these are conditions that can impact the spine and altering our balance. Degeneration of the disc can change our posture. Scoliosis, any changes in the spine. Loss of flexibility impacts our mobility. Decreases in joint range of motion. Osteoarthritis in any of those joints can impact that. A weak core muscle can lead to a strain or sprain. If we're compensating because someplace else is weak, that can affect us. Deterioration of the cartilage between the joints. Lack of activity for mobility and function, and bone density are all things that can kind of impact our balance. And injury in any of those, we tend to kind of compensate for. And again, that's also something that can affect our balance. If I've got a bad knee, I'm using the other side more, right? Prevent incident of subsequent disability, benefits of better balance, improve self-confidence, increase independence, and fall prevention. The importance of body mechanics in daily life. It allows activity to be done safely without injury. It uses muscles appropriately without stress. It protects your joints from stress or pain, and it gives back that confidence that you can do something and enjoy yourself. These are just some facts from the CDC. Up to 50% of those between 55 and 65 do not participate in any form of movement activity. Percentage is higher after the age of 65. Inactivity leads to major deterioration in strength, flexibility, and balance, leading to an increased risk for fall. Physical activity has a major impact on decreasing fall risk, managing chronic conditions, and reducing depression or premature death. Some people, when they can't be active anymore, it can cause a lot of more mental strain as much as physical strain. So any kind of activity and maintaining that goes a long way towards keeping us maintaining longer. I gave everybody a questionnaire. I'm not going to go through that this section, but I wanted to kind of go through each of these, and then we're also going to show some exercises with Alexandra's help today. Question 1, have you fallen in the last year? People who have fallen are more likely to fall again. Do you use or have you been advised to use a cane or walker to get safely? People who have been advised to use it may already be more likely to fall because their balance is already off, so they need something to keep them stable. If we don't use it, that can also impact it. Do you ever feel unsteady when walking? Unsteadiness or needing support while walking are signs of balance being impaired. Do you steady yourself by holding onto furniture when walking at home? What we call a furniture walker. This is also a sign of balance or fear to be without something to hang on to. Are you worried about falling? People who are worried about falling sometimes are more likely to fall because we stress over it. Do you need to push with your hands to stand up from a chair? Now I'm going to say that I push with my hands to stand up from a chair, so I'm not sure about this question. I think it's a good thing to use your hands to push up from a chair. It keeps you more steady. Do you have some trouble stepping up on a curb? Do you often have to rush to the bathroom? Rushing to the bathroom, especially at night, increases the chance of fall. There's another presentation we sometimes do, and it's on how to look at your home as far as how things are set up in your house to prevent falls, home adaptation to prevent falls. And one of the key times people fall are going to the bathroom at night. Whether it's on a rug, whether it's because they can't see, whether it's because they're doing it so quickly, they don't take their device. It just seems to be the time our mind is on what we need to do and not how we're getting there to do it. So that's a big one. Have you lost some feeling in your feet? Neuropathy or something like that can also impact it. Not always a lot you can do about that, but just a reminder to really kind of have as much sensation that, the ground is below you. Do you take medicine that sometimes makes you feel lightheaded? Some people have, like when they stand too quickly, they can things spin. Very good to stand up and get your bearings first. Sometimes my blood pressure drops if I've been weeding or something and I get up too quickly. Things spin on me, and so I know I have to stop. I've got to wait till I've got my bearings and then try to walk. And do you often feel sad or depressed? It says sometimes the feeling of being slowed down can also impact us. But the others are more things that are things in our personal life that can affect our balance. I'm not going to speak to this one a lot. Some buildings have this AI device that they use. I don't think this is one of the communities that does, but it scans your whole body as you stand there, and it measures your balance and your leg length, and it does a whole scan. And so I just refer to it to places that have that. It's very cool. It's called kineticists. And I think there's some other types too. So anyway, some communities use it. I just touch on that. How your therapist can help improve balance. Physical therapy, muscle strengthening exercises, flexibility and stability, balance, training in the use of a cane or walker to help with balance, and posture and core training. Occupational therapy, body mechanics and fine motor skills, joint protection, instruction and use of adaptive equipment at home to prevent yourself from maybe leaning too far, using reachers, grabbers, other things to keep you from setting your stability off. Joint integrity and ADL training. This is benefits of increasing strength, restoring your balance and reducing falls, bone strengthening, better vitality, bone density stabilization. I can't say it today. Stabilization, thank you. And sleep improvement. And I know we don't talk about it a lot, but exercise and movement really can help you sleep a lot better. Personally, I'm always one that sleeps well, but if I exercise a little bit before I go to bed, I do sleep a lot more sound. And they have found with research that it can help, a light exercise can help you sleep a little better. Now, Alexander, do you want to come up? Everybody should have a worksheet that has exercises listed on it, and they have seated and standing. And she's going to be our demonstrator. You want to grab a chair first? When you sit down, I want you to sit on the stage. So that we can see you.
All right.
So you can feel completely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do the seated first, and I'm just going to have her kind of walk through so we can everybody see them. The first one is knee lifts and marching in place. And these are really easy ones that anyone can do at home. Okay, good. The next one is called ankle circles for mobility. The third one is foot point and flex for mobility. She's going to get her exercise today. The next one is to sit at the edge of the chair and rock back. This strengthens the back and core. Very good. The next one is front kicks for leg strength. So you can get your bottom back a little bit if you need it. There you go. And this one I'm going to have her demonstrate first. It's sit to stand by chair and hover over chair before sitting.
You want me to use my hands?
Yes. Okay. And you're going to pause. That's that slight pause before you set. Okay, that's that hover part. So you get up, and then as you're setting, you just hover a little bit and then set. Very good, very good. Those are the seated ones, and again, simple ones we can do at a chair. The next ones are standing. Raise toes to toe, touch to side. I think it's yes. So it's the toe and in, toe and in, toe and in. Very good. Weight shifting while standing with feet apart for a partial squat. So we're gonna,
I would be holding up to
I'll hold on to the chair, yes. There we go.
Very crackly.
I know. You probably hear me crackle too. Unfortunately, it's true. A side leg lift for lateral stability. Okay. Stepping up and down a single step while holding onto a rail. We don't have a rail, so we're going to have to pretend we have a rail. But doing a single step. Very good. And then side step with a counter, where you do the side step. Where you have something to hang on to. I guess we'd use a chair as an example. But if you had a counter or something in front of you, doing side steps back and forth. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So this last screen is just kind of finding your best solution for balance. Just being aware of your pharmacy, work with your physician to ensure the medicine you're taking does not add to fall risk, does not add to dizziness or side effects. Working with your therapy provider if you need to and when you need to. And then just general well-being, staying as active as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can to maintain what we have. All right? And I left the questionnaire. You can kind of do that on your own if you want to, but that was the same questions we talked through. Questions? Yeah?
Anyone have any questions?
I did bring
Yes. Are you a service provider here?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Symbria provides therapy services here outpatient, so if you ever received an order from your physician, we could take care of it here in the community.
You may have seen some of the physical therapists walking around, like Lisa or Karen. That work
We
with
usually
Symbria.
have black shirts, and that'll give it away, and
shirts.
tan pants, yeah, or gray pants, so it's a dead
Is
giveaway.
it, do you know if it's less expensive by getting it for here? Or is it-
Your insurance should probably be no different. So if you had a copay through home health or another outpatient clinic, it's the same. We just bill it through insurance. And actually, Symbria doesn't do the billing, we provide the service, but Lutheran Senior Services does the billing. And so if, let's say you came to me and you had an order, then I send that order to Lutheran Senior Services. They run what's called a verification of benefits, or a VOB, to let us know how your insurance coverage is done. Then the manager, Alexandra, would call you and say, I have your information back. Your Medicare covers 80%. Medicare always covers 80% under Medicare Part B. And then your secondary, if you had it, may cover the other 20%. I think like Blue Cross usually does, and several do. She could tell you that and let you know if it's covered 100%. Or if you had UHC or Aetna, she might say you have a $20 per visit copay. But all of this we shared with you before we start, and then it's up to you whether you want to start it or not. But we do that first, always, so that everybody knows how it's covered.
Mhm.
But generally, if it's covered a certain way for home health or an outpatient clinic, it's the same, because it's your insurance policy. The only time there might be a difference, UHC, some of them are not in network, and I do have to check. I mean, those are ones that I always look at really closely first. And that's just something within the last year and how LSS contract is with them. So, yes.
You don't have a phone number here.
I have cards I brought with me today.
She has cards.
So if anybody wants Alexandra's number and the gym number, we're gonna write it down. I got pens ready, so I did bring that. I didn't make a new business card for her yet because they're moving the gym to the 3rd floor tomorrow. And so I didn't know if the number was gonna change.
Well, so you couldn't even give us the number to.
Yeah, I can give you the number today that we have, and I think it'll go the same, and we can give you her email. But I wasn't 100% sure, so I didn't want to pre-print them. Didn't reprint them, so, yeah,
Makes sense.
Okay.
yeah. So it'll be a brand new gym tomorrow.
Is that, and that phone number's on your card?
I've got a card, and I'm gonna write it on there, yep. So anybody who wants one, I'll get it to them today.
Where is that?
The new therapy gym is gonna be on the 3rd floor. I think you take, there are 3 towers. What is that, the tower 2? 1, 2?
You're at College, you're on M3. Yeah, M3, so it's 2.
Yeah, so it's the, if you're all the way at the end of the campus, it's the 2nd elevators, which is the 2nd tower to the 3rd floor.
It used to be right on the main hallway right here when you're walking through,
And
just walking around.
you can still see it there, it's just not very attractive today.
But most of them will come to you, or you'll be
Yes.
using the independent living exercise gym.
If you're in independent living, generally speaking, we would probably come to you. We wouldn't have you walk all that distance and have you do something over here. Yeah, for sure. We do the same in my community, because the gym is all the way to the other end of the campus. Any other questions? I'm gonna get the cards out, so if you want a card, if you stay hanging out or just flag me, I'll get it to you, okay?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.